actually admitted they went too far. I kept the letter in my desk drawer as a reminder that some people will never really take responsibility. The school sent out an email about new mandatory allergy training for all staff and students starting next year. Kids started calling it the Pierce Protocol when teachers weren't around, but nobody said it to their faces. They made everyone watch a video about cross-contamination and how to use an EpiPen, and the principal announced zero tolerance for food bullying. My last week in town, I had to drive past their house to get to the bank and saw a moving truck in the driveway. Workers were loading boxes and furniture, while Mrs. Pierce stood on the lawn directing them. I didn't feel happy or sad or angry, just empty where all that rage used to live. 3 months later, I was at freshman orientation, listening to the residence life coordinator talk about roommate agreements. Nobody knew who I was or what happened, and I liked it that way. When people asked where I was from, I just said a small town and changed the subject. My roommate showed up on move-in day and immediately told me he had a severe tree nut allergy. I helped him check every food item I'd brought and threw out anything that might have been processed near nuts. We put up signs on our door and established a whole system for keeping him safe because I knew how serious allergies were, but also knew they shouldn't be used as weapons. He was grateful I took it seriously without him having to explain why it mattered. We became good friends, and he never knew about my history with allergy-related drama. Nadine texted me in October saying the Pierce family was investigated for insurance fraud in their new state. Someone had tipped off the authorities about their pattern of lawsuits and settlements. She swore it wasn't her, but said she wasn't surprised someone finally connected the dots. The investigator had called her for information about our case, and she'd provided all the documentation showing their history. I asked if I needed to do anything, and she said no, just focus on the school and let karma handle the rest. My mom visited for Parents' Weekend and mentioned the town was different now. People had learned something from what happened, even if they didn't want to talk about it directly. The school had better policies, and parents were more careful about not turning accidents into vendettas. She said the Pierce house finally sold to a young family who got it for way under asking price. The new owners didn't know the whole story, and my mom didn't tell them. That winter break, I ran into the principal at Target, and he stopped me near the electronics section. He said he was sorry for how he handled everything, and that he should have investigated more before suspending me. I told him it was done and I was doing fine at college, but I didn't forgive him. Some things change you, and some bridges stay burned, and that's okay. My college friends eventually found out pieces of the story when someone Googled my name and found Lance's articles. They couldn't believe something so small turned into something so destructive, but they also said they were impressed I fought back and won. One of them said if that happened to her, she would have just given up. But I told her you don't know what you'll do until someone tries to destroy your whole future over nothing. Parents' Weekend came up in October, and my mom drove 6 hours to visit me at college. We walked around campus, and she kept looking at other families, and then told me the town was different since everything happened. Nobody really talked about it directly, but people had learned something from watching how fast things got out of control. The school changed their policies, and parents were more careful about not turning every little thing into a huge fight. She said the Pierce house finally sold to a young couple who got it cheap because nobody else wanted it. I showed her around the dorms and introduced her to my roommate, who she liked right away.